So, in between speaking about the Star Wars Insider magazines, which I'm having a blast rereading them, going through them, skimming through them, it's definitely a great trip down memory lane, and nostalgia really hits. I love that feeling, and I'm having a blast doing it. And I hope you're enjoying it. I know that wanted to explain this as well. I know I've been kind of going a little bit out of order, and I'm going to continue to do so due to certain circumstances right now of storage situation. But even though it's old news, I kind of don't want to get into it right now. But I had lost my entire collection of Star Wars Insiders. So um, recently, I would say about 3, 4 months ago, I found a collector who was trying to get rid of all his Star Wars items and had a big stack of Star Wars Insiders for a pretty reasonable price. And I jumped on it and was happy and they were in great condition, just happy to have them once again. And just sat for hours just reading them and just remembering certain things from certain magazines. A lot of them I forgot about. And so it's kind of new to me again, and seeing those short stories and interviews so much as you've seen on my videos. But one thing I want to highlight, and the reason and the point for this video, is a section that's called Rebel Rumblings, which I kind of skimmed through it and turn the pages when I'm showing the magazine to you guys, the issues to you guys. But there's a theme um, that has been brought up by the fans in that Rebel Rumblings section, where if you were lucky enough back in the day to send a letter, they would post it for some fans. And that was, I'm sure, I never wrote in, but I should have. But I think those people were extremely happy to see their words on print in a Star Wars Insider magazine. And the point of that is this: the theme that I'm talking about is defending the EU, even from way back in the day. So that just shows you no way was the internet the way it is, what it is now. So a lot of people were a lot more quieter back then, and but still these words of defending and explaining the expanded universe really showed that there was individuals who weren't that fond of the expanded universe. And hey, all power to them. Okay, I will never mind or be upset at somebody for not liking the expanded universe or Legends. Hey, if you love Star Wars, and that's I'm no bigger of a fan than you are just because I read the books and novels. We're all the same. If you like the sequel trilogy or what Disney is doing, you love Star Wars, hey, all power to you. If you love Legends, Expanded Universe, we have a bond, you can say. I forgot who said it recently in an interview. I wish I remembered, but I don't want to, I'm kind of guessing who the name is, but somebody had mentioned in an ensemble interview that, yeah, that hey, if you're a Legends fan, we're friends already, and something along those lines. And it's so true. But I feel that on a personal level, I admire and love the passion that some people have for the EU when they defend it. Me, on just I have a different kind of personality. When I've been approached, whether it's online or whether it's talking to somebody, and they say, "Hey, the books, the comics, they don't count. It's just the movies. George Lucas didn't write them, and the whole story." And they start getting, for some reason, they start getting irate about this whole thing just because I enjoy the movies. I'm sorry, enjoy this whole storyline that's through comics, games, and novels, and how they tie into that. My response when they start arguing is, okay, okay. I don't have a need to defend myself. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm confident in what I love, what I enjoy. That's all there is to it. But I do admire the people who have that passion to send a letter in defense of the expanded universe. So I'm going to be highlighting a few so you can see how way back in the day there were fans in the early stages, you can say, early years of the expanded universe, now Legends, how they loved it so much, and how they would explain why they loved it and how would they defend it. And they did. And that's something that I actually really loved and was touched by reading it. So I'll share some. So with these Star Wars Insider magazine videos I've been putting out, I'm having a blast just visiting, and just a lot of memories. Honestly, a lot of memories coming back to me. And one thing I wanted to highlight here is the Rebel Rumbling section, which is very cool. Section that each magazine had, where fans once again would write in, and if you were lucky, you'd get published. But my point of this is that a lot of fans would defend the expanded universe, would talk about the expanded universe. For example, here's one from Atlanta, Georgia. I have been a Star Wars fan for longer than I can remember, and I believe that the information given in the movies was meant as the information of a greater galaxy. You are missing some great Star Wars moments if you do not read the books. That's one of many. Here's another one from Canada. If you haven't noticed, the end of the Return of the Jedi Special Edition featured Coruscant, the Imperial City planet. Where did this name come from? Heir to the Empire, which according to one letter is not an official Star Wars story. Lucas himself admitted that even though he had the idea of having an Imperial planet in one of the Star Wars movies, the name Coruscant came from Timothy Zahn's imagination. Here's another one. Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire is classic. Star Wars X-Wing Rogue Squadron is fantastic. The comics or the books. Who is who is anyone to say I'm not a real fan because I enjoy these books? I live, eat, and breathe Star Wars. Here's another one. A real fan should be open to using their imagination to go beyond seeing Star Wars on TV or in the theaters, but to be able to visualize with the mind. From Stockton, California. Another one, I am a die-hard Star Wars fan. Just because I like to read books by Timothy Zahn and other authors who write Star Wars books does not mean that I am not a true Star Wars fan. Without Mara Jade, there would not be many strong women characters in Star Wars. Another one from New York. How is something George Lucas made up more real than something Timothy Zahn made up? The fact is, every bit of the Star Wars movies never happened, and sometimes fans forget that. To run down good literature because it's not a movie is absurd. Totally agree. And the approach that I'm going for is always that positive approach. I'm all about the positive vibes, the chill vibes, and I want this channel and talking about Star Wars to reflect that. That doesn't mean that I'll never say something if I really, really feel strongly about, but I'll always say it respectfully. So going along with that, if you're somebody who's still at it's 2024 when the EU is brought up and you argue and say that it was never canon, that George Lucas never approved it, and so on. It's old, but hey, if that makes you happy, all power to you. However, this I'm highlighting these letters here because this has been going on for so long. So obviously, when you read these letters and when the EU is brought up, the comics, the games, the books, the novels, everything, there's clearly been talk and about it not being part of the legacy about of the canon with the movies, but yeah, I mean, as you can see, there was so many fans, obviously, of this amazing expanded universe that I've said many times in my channel that outgrew the movies, that really complement the movies, that enhance the movies with so much of the characters and lore and mythology explored. So, yeah, I just wanted to highlight these letters here and how people from way back in the day once again expressed how they feel about this amazing expanded universe and how it really is a continuation of the movies.